Good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss about the neoplasia, definition of the neoplasia, classification, and some of the characteristics which are occurring in neoplasia. So let's begin it. Neoplasia, what actually is the neoplasia? It is the pathologic process. It is the uncontrolled proliferation or differentiation of the cells. The term neoplasia, it consists of two words. The first one, new, it means the new, and plasia, it means the growth. So actually the neoplasia, as we already told, that it is the uncontrolled proliferation of the cells. So we can also say that it is the new growth or formation of the cells. It can occur in all organisms, including humans, animals, and plants. Neoplasm. It is the abnormal new growth of the tissue, and tumor. It is the an abnormal mass of the tissues. Blastoma. It is a tumor that actually is originating from undifferentiated embryonic cells, and it have little or no connective tissues. Blastoma, it is a type of cancer caused by malignancies in precursor cells, which are commonly referred to as blasts. Anaplasia. Anaplasia consists of two words, ana and plasia. Ana, it means the backward, and plasia, it is the formation. It is the condition of cells with poor cellular differentiations and therefore losing the morphological characteristics. Cancer, it is a malignant growth or tumor that is resulting from an uncontrolled division of cells. Epidemiology of the cancers. The incidence of cancer, it varies with age, geographic factors, and genetic background. It can occur at any age. Environmental factors implicated in carcinogenesis, it includes infectious agents, smoking, alcohol, diet, obesity, reproductive history, and exposure to carcinogens, which includes physical carcinogens, biological carcinogens, and chemical carcinogens. The cancer risk rises in certain tissues in the setting of increased cellular proliferation. It is caused by chronic inflammation or hormonal stimulation. Epithelial cell lining, it may develop morphological changes that signify an increased risk for developing cancers. Those lesions, we'll call them the precursor lesions. In after some time, we are going to discuss about what kind of precursor lesions we know till now. The risk for developing cancer, it is modified by interaction between environmental exposures and genetic variants. Causes. Physical factors, it includes radiation, trauma, injuries, high or low temperature. Chemical factors, it includes the chemical compounds, which includes nitrates, nitrites, ethers, aniline dyes, formalin, toluene, and medicines. Genetic factors, we also have an oncogenic viruses, also the causes of the tumors. Precursors of neoplasia. Risk factors, it includes hyperplasia, metaplasia, dysplasia, or chronic inflammation. They represent a precancerous condition. So if we see hyperplasia, metaplasia, dysplasia, or chronic inflammation, we should take care, otherwise it may develop into cancer. Precursors of tumor, let's discuss those one by one. Hyperplasia. Hyperplasia is increase in number of cells in an organ or tissue. The term, again, it consists of two parts, hyper and plasia. Hyper means increase and plasia means growth. Metaplasia is the another precursor of the tumor. The transformation of one tissue into another or change in the form, we call it the metaplasia. It is another precursor of the tumor. Dysplasia. The presence of cells of an abnormal type within a tissue, the abnormal growth or development of a tissue or organ. It can be mild, moderate, or severe. For example, cervical intraepithelial neoplasia 1, CIN 1, 2, and 3, they are the example of the dysplasia, depending upon their severity. It can be either mild, moderate, or severe one. Chronic inflammation. What is the chronic inflammation? It is an ongoing long-term response to endogenous or exogenous inflammatory stimuli and is characterized by continued accumulation of mononuclear leukocytes accompanied by tissue injury due to the prolonged inflammatory responses. It can also lead to the tumor formation. Types and classification of the tumor. We have the two types of classification for tumors according to the clinical course or by histogenesis. According to the clinical course, there are two types, benign and malignant one. Benign, which cannot in which there is no metastasis, and malignant one in which there is the metastasis. By histogenesis, we have organ-specific epithelial tumors, organ non-specific epithelial tumor, mesenchymal tumors, and tumors of melanin-forming tissue, tumors of nervous system, tumors of hematopoietic tissue or hemoblastocysts, teratomas and teratoblastomas. Nomenclature. This is the first list or the first block. We have the tissues, and the second block we have the benign nomenclature. The nomenclature when tumor is benign, and in the third one there is a block for the malignant nomenclature. For example, in the epithelial cells, if there is the benign one, we will call it the polyp, adenoma, or papilloma. If we add carcinoma, or if a carcinoma is added, it indicates the malignancy. For example, adenoma was the benign one. If there is the adenocarcinoma, it means the malignant epithelial tumor. Now mesenchymal cells, mesenchymal tissue. In this case, when a tissue name plus OMA is written, it means the tumor is the benign one. If with the tissue name we have the sarcoma, or the added word is the sarcoma, it will indicate the malignant one. For example, there is the fibroma. And in case of malignant, in case of benign one, it is the fibroma. You can see that FIBRO, it is the FIBR, it is the one word, and OMA is the addition, and OMA indicates the benign tumor. And the malignant one will be the fibrosarcoma. Neurocytes, we will have cell plus OMA in case of the benign one, for example, astrocytoma. And if we have the cell plus blastoma, it indicates the malignant tumor. For example, glioblastoma. Melanocytes, benign one, we call them the NABI. And if in the malignant one, we will call it the melanoma. Hemoblastosis or lymphocytes, we will have the cell plus OMA, for example, lymphoma. Cell plus OMA, if cell plus OMA is written, it will indicate the benign one. And in malignant one, we will pronunciate it in the form of lymphosarcoma.